recording. All right. And then, Larry, I'm going to make you host.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be good. There's Randy. You
There he
still
is.
look the
Hello.
same. You haven't
Loving
aged
the
a
facial
day.
hair. You look good.
Yeah, same facial hair. Yep. That's Tucson in the background, by the way.
There you go.
All
All right. Well, welcome
right.
everybody to the RockStar PR and Media webinar. Larry and I just did this 2-day event about 2 weeks ago now, and it was so popular and so amazing, everyone said, that we decided to do a webinar. And so we're going to try to cram 2 days worth of information into about 75 minutes. So get ready. So
No, we're not doing it in 35 minutes
no, we're
today.
not. No.
We tried that a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
Susie and her crew were kind of victims of that. And we're not going to try to do that. We cut a lot out and
Yeah.
yeah.
So really quick about me, 90% about know who I am, but just in case you don't, I am a marketing guy, toured with Guns N' Roses and Air Supply, learned a lot about how to think outside the box when marketing, and now I'm a speaker and I do Rockstar marketing events all over. And I have a new thing, Rockstar Keynote Speakers Magazine, which just launched in November. Very excited about that. Larry, who are you?
Hey, I'm Larry Broughton. Thank you very much. Let's
There
get
you
on
go.
with the show. No. So I've been an entrepreneur for most of my life. I spent about 9 years, a little over 9 years in the military. About a little over 8 of those were on Special Forces A teams. Got out of that and got into the entrepreneurial space. And thank goodness I've had lots of victories in that space. Several failures as well. Some of you can probably relate to that. You've probably had failures in business from time to time. Um, but what I've learned over the years is that the power of public relations and media is one of the most cost efficient, most beneficial ways to grow brands. And so I've been doing that for a long time. And because of the approach that we take with that, many of the businesses that I'm involved with, I own or am an investor in a bunch of businesses. And I measure everything, by the way. Um, we tend to have superior performance to our industry competitors. And it's often because we know how to get credibility and revenue, and it's through PR and public relations. And I try not to talk about this very much because sounds like I'm being braggadocious, but I'm not a braggadocious person. But because of the stuff that I'm talking about, either me directly or my organizations have been named Ernst& Young's Entrepreneur of the Year, Paskey Foundation's National Business Leader of Integrity Award, Visionary of the Year. I mean, there's tons of awards and recognitions that we have received over the years. And CBS News has said that I'm the nation's foremost expert on entrepreneurship and leadership. And I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this here in a couple of minutes, because it's important, right? Because when you get PR, it really just lends credibility to both yourself and to your business. Helps increase your brand visibility. It definitely impacts the public perception, and ultimately it drives revenue to your business. And so I've just become an expert over the years for myself, my businesses, and for my coaching and mentoring clients on getting PR. And so we're going to talk tonight about some ways to do that. Now, as Craig has already stated, folks like Connie and Jimmy and Susie, you were at that 2-day boot camp. So I appreciate that you're on this today, but this is going to be a repeat of some of the stuff that we talked about in that 2-day boot camp.
You always hear it differently when you hear it the next time.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's why I've got a couple of mantras. You know, a lot of us get stuck in this IAKT syndrome, which is what? Ugh, I already know that, right? And instead, what I want us to be doing is kind of like leaning into the TFTR, right? Ah, thanks for the reminder, Susie, right? Yes, you've heard it before, but there's a reason why when you read a book more than once or you see a movie more than once, you learn something new, right? And so that's what this is going to be today. So for those that were on the call with Susie a couple of nights ago, we cut a bunch of the stuff out and we're going to give you fewer tidbits here, but I'm going to pull back the screen right now. I'm going to tell you, you will learn stuff tonight for sure that if you take it and apply it, it'll move the needle a little bit in your business. However, I'm just gonna tell you right now, we're gonna be offering you an opportunity to spend 6 weeks with Craig and I, meeting once a week or once a week, beginning in January for a master class. And there we're going to go deep. We're going to give all kinds of templates and tools for you to apply to your business. Okay?
And it's really interesting. Let me interject.
Yeah, of course.
I've done these in my RockStar boot camps. I talk about PR media all the time.
Yeah.
But then when Larry and I put this back together, I have a new business. It's called DAM, Disrupt Artist Management Network. And it's we represent bands and we do music festivals and big seminars. But I'm using all the principles that Larry and I talked about because it reminded me what I haven't been doing in my speaking world because I'm established there. So I'm going back to the roots and I'm using all of these tools to launch my new business, which launches officially January 14th, 2025. So it's really, if you've heard it before, that's okay. But it, like we all just said, it just reminds you of, oh yeah, I haven't done that yet. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Sometimes, we get so caught up in life, Craig, that we forget the basics.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes we just need to be reminded, go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we're going to be sharing with you today. Now, the interesting part is I have been coaching and mentoring people for almost 30 years at this point, actively like a set aside business for about 15 years. And still, I had a coaching client this morning who's got a very high-end luxury limousine service in Dallas. And he's been featured, received a bunch of awards, never sent out a press release. Right. And so when I've been talking to him lately about doing media, he still can't get it in his head that why am I deserving of being in the media? Right. And anyway, we had a big breakthrough today for him. So I don't care what your business is. If you're on this call, it's very likely that you are either an expert at something or you're trying to become an expert at something. Well, because of that, you are worthy of press and coverage. So, Craig, shall I jump in?
Yeah, you're sharing the screen, babe. I have no clue.
All right. Well, listen, my friends, I'm going to ask you again, if you are just listening right now, I'd love it for you to come on screen, like turn your camera on, because that will help Craig and I out, because we'll be monitoring, facial expressions. Are they understanding this, or are we going too fast for them? That will help me out. Now, listen, if you're barking up a lung or you're in a hospital, you don't need to do that. Okay. Don't worry about it. All right. But I'm going to share my screen here in just a second. Let me know if you can see that with thumbs up on that.
Not yet. There we are. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So as Craig had mentioned, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, we did this 2-day event. And so I'll ask you this. What would happen to your life? What would happen to your business if you were featured regularly in Entrepreneur Magazine, CNBC, Wall Street Journal? You got cover stories on magazines. The local news stations were interviewing you at your place of business. What would that do to your business? Would it increase your credibility? Would potential clients look at you as like, wow, this person's a mover and a shaker? Would this be some kind of indication that you are a quote unquote winner, or that you are the lead of a winning team? Doesn't everyone want to be on a winning team? Yes, they do. And it's amazing that once you start getting this type of media coverage, it attracts clients, it attracts investors, and attracts team members. People want to be around people that they perceive to be a celebrity. It just is very beneficial. All right. So how many people are speakers? You have a speaking career, or you'd like to launch a speaking career. All right. So what if you were trying to launch your speaking career? And by the way, all of you should be, number one, writing a book. Number two, trying to speak on your book. And you can do speaking just like we're doing right now, right? You don't need to get on a plane to go do it. You can do them, thank goodness, from the comfort of your own home office these days. But what would happen to your speaking career if you got an article, something like this? This came from PR. LA Weekly named me among the top 10 speakers in North America. What would that do to your speaking career? It would help launch it, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it propel you? You put this on your website, you put this on your speaker reel, you put it on the speaker bureaus. It gives you more credibility, right? So one of the books that I've got is this best-selling book here called Flashpoints. I did a bunch of years ago, and it's just got a 365 daily missives in here. And one of them is this: competition becomes insignificant when you are the brand, when you're the brand. And this is the thing that I think a lot of people get frustrated or wrapped around the axle with, Craig, is that they think, well, I'm not worthy because there's all these other people out there in the same space that I am. But they're not you. They're not you. And so I want to talk about your personal brand here for a second. And I'm going to be kind of leading this thing mostly tonight. Craig's going to jump in. He's got some great points that he wants to make. And so if you're wondering, well, this is a RockStar thing. Why is Larry talking so much? Why is he being so rude? It's because we set it up this way.
No, it's
All
like
right.
I love when other people do it, and I'll
I
just
know.
interject.
I know. I know.
It's beautiful.
All right. So some of you have seen this. You were at the thing a couple of weeks ago. But Carol, if I were to say to you, Carol, go out in your backyard or go to the local park, and I want you to catch me a dozen bees and a couple of rats and a squirrel and a raccoon and 50 flies and 2 dozen ants, it's going to take you a little while to do that, isn't it? Well, that's kind of what it's like going out to get clients, isn't it? You're going out and you're hunting and pecking for all these things one by one by one. Well, in special forces, we talked about being a force multiplier, right? And the force multiplier is the idea of that you become a honeypot. If you were to put a honeypot in your backyard, you're going to attract all kinds of critters to you, right? And you just have to sit there and wait for it, right? Well, this is what media does. When you become a quote unquote celebrity in the media and people are writing about you, that's the one to many. You do one interview with Wall Street Journal, or you go on MSNBC, or you name your favorite station, or Fox or CNN, and you talk about your expert product, or your expertise. People start coming to you. I want you to become the honeypot, okay? And you do that by really leaning into your brand. And your brand is not your logo. Your brand is the combination of your values, your vision and mission, your core competencies, how you look, how you speak, how you show up, how you act. That's your personal brand. And the idea here is to be so, what's the word I'm looking for? So attractive, so appealing that it gets everyone talking, right? And how do you get people talking? Well, for one thing, have anyone ever worked in a tipped position, or have you ever gone to a lounge and the pianist who's playing the piano that night has got a tip jar? Or have you ever worked at a coffee shop and you see they got a little jar there? You put tips in. You know what they do? They seed that tip jar. There might be an empty jar, but as soon as somebody puts money in it, more money comes to it, right? Well, this is like testimonials, right? Do you have testimonials on your website, on your marketing collateral, from clients, from key industry professionals, and from influencers and business titans about you and your work? If you don't, the first thing I want you to do today is to schedule it. Go to all your past clients who you've had a successful experience with and get them to write testimonials for you. And a good testimonial is, I was here, I met Bonnie, and now I'm here. Take them through the emotional arc. Craig is brilliant at writing testimonials. He knows how to do them. He knows how to give them on camera, right? There's an expertise to that. So I want you to schedule that. I know we're going into the holiday season, but like in the next couple of business days, I want you to ask for testimonials, because those will prop you up as a thought leader. How do you become a thought leader? Well, you start publishing your thoughts. How do you publish your thoughts? Through social media, through articles, by both being in articles, like being the subject of articles, being quoted in articles, and writing articles. Be the thought leader, okay? But I want you to remember this. Again, I'm going to hit this over the head a million times. You got to be the brand. Don't blend in like everyone else. If you've got a quirk like me, I know that I've got a slur. I know that I've got a speech impediment, right? That used to prevent me from going out and doing TV interviews and all that kind of thing. I don't care anymore. I know that I look like a big dork. I don't care about any of that stuff any longer.
Oh,
Be the brand.
Larry.
Be uniquely yourself. Oh, Craig,
Oh,
right?
Larry.
Um, so I understand though that this is not my quote. I try not to pass off quotes as my own. We've all heard this before, right? Fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. But I do know this. If you've done any kind of work out there with other people, fear is one of those things that just keep us from leaning into our fullest potential. And I want us to stop doing that. Instead, what I want you to do is just get it all out, and I want you to have your own personal website. I know this blows a lot of people's minds. What? I've already got my own business website. Why should I have my own personal website? There's kind of a big epiphany. Don't you think this is one of the biggest epiphanies we had at the Rockstar event,
Yep.
Craig?
In fact, I'm doing it. So I have my new speaker page is rockstarmarketingspeaker.com, and Craig Duswalt is going to have my mastermind on it, my speaking on it, my author books on it, and my new business DAM on it. So I'm creating my personal brand and then having offshoots for these separate things. But speaking is a totally separate website now. And
Yeah,
yeah, and I just believe in this so much now.
right. And that's what I have been doing for 100 years. And I've got a website for each of my businesses. Here's about half of the businesses that I am involved with. But over here is my personal website, larrybroughton.com. On my personal website, you can get to each of these. And the reason I do this is that you guys know the numbers as well as I do. 70% of all businesses fail within the first year, right? And then it's within the first 5 years, most businesses just go away. If you spend all of your marketing dollars, all of your efforts in increasing the profile of your business, and then that business either fails or you sell it, and you have no other online profile, it's like you're starting over. So I want you to think ahead. So create your own personal website. Another way to increase your brand is to interview experts and authorities. Like here's the CEO of Chick-fil-A there in the middle, and the rest is soul, Tony Hsieh. I interviewed him a few times. Up in the upper right-hand corner is Tom Gavin, who is the CEO of Black Rifle Coffee, and Barry Griswold, who's the former CEO of Principal Financial. Only a $4 billion a year business. What can I learn from the guy who started out loading the trucks at a dock in that company to becoming the CEO? You can learn a lot from folks like that, right? And so our point here that Craig and I want you all to understand is that we must own the media. They are longing for your story. I'm telling you this. These booking producers, these editors, these journalists, they are out there scouring the web looking for interesting and unique stories, interesting and unique insights, and you're the one who's going to provide it. And when you do this, it builds your credibility. Okay. And so the way to do this is to get articles written about you. Okay. And this is maybe 1% of the articles, less than 1% of the articles have been written about me and my companies. And how do you get articles written about you? Well, there's a bunch of places. Alumni magazines, affinity publications. If you're into medieval basket weaving, I'm sure there's a medieval basket weaving publication. City and regional publications, major dailies, books, being quoted in books, writing forwards for books. I've gotten business leads I've written, I don't know, a couple dozen forwards for a variety of books. I've gotten business leads from a forward. It wasn't even my book or someone else's book, right? There are ways to get your name out there. Okay. So articles written about you. And to do that, we need to do press releases. Can anybody quickly tell me what a press release is and maybe a sentence? Susie, you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, it's an article about you placed in newspapers all across the country.
Yeah, so it's a press release, right? So it's basically it's a concise official statement. You're right, that gets turned into an article about you, right? And you issue it out through the media that announces something that's newsworthy. And what's newsworthy? Everything you do is newsworthy. You hired a new VP of marketing. That's newsworthy. You received an award. That's newsworthy. You secured a new client. That's newsworthy. You moved to a new office. That's newsworthy. All those things. And every time your business is named in the media, there's usually a URL or a link in that article about you, and definitely in the press release, and that provides a backlink back to your website. That increases your profile out there. And those things that I just mentioned, here's one, for instance, that when I moved my office into this Class A office building in Anaheim a bunch of years ago, I'm not going to share the whole story with you why I did it, but I had Santa Claus there at our ribbon cutting. And because I had Santa Claus there were, I forget how many dozens of businesses that the Orange County Register and the Orange County Business Journal did stories on or mentioned. Ours was the only one that had a picture in there. You guys have read articles, right? When your picture is in the publication, you get more attention, right? And we're going to show you how to write awesome press releases. But you, as Susie said, you announce everything. And so what we're going to talk about in our 6-week program is developing newsworthy stories. Okay, so you have to craft a strong headline. You have to cover the 5 W's, the who, what, where, whens, and whys. Here's a couple of things that I think are really important. When you're writing a press release, in the 6-week program, we're going to give you the template on how to do this. Don't use industry jargon, because most people who are reading this aren't going to be in your industry. So avoid industry jargon. Like if I would talk to you about ADR and RevPAR, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you're in the hotel industry, you know exactly what those are. Those are key metrics that you measure every single day. Incorporate great visuals like these. Like this one story here on the right-hand side is for National Rubber Duck Day, and my company's been doing packages around Rubber Duck Day for a personal reason for a bunch of years, and we get tens of thousands of dollars of business over this one weekend just from that press release that goes out. So incorporate great visuals, add a compelling lead, and we're going to offer you many, 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 many more of newsworthy ideas in the 6-week mastery. Craig, you want to jump in for a second? You got anything to add on to that?
Well, I'll do the distribution.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah. So I've been talking about press releases forever.
Yes.
At all my seminars, I've said, you got to sign up with PR Web. And then I would hold mastermind meetings and I would say, has anyone signed up for PR Web? And I'd get this, what's PR Web? And I'm like, oh my God, I just told you what PR Web was. And for years and years and years, well, my secret, some of you know that when I did seminars, well, I still do seminars, but I used to do big seminars, 500 to 700 people would fly in from all over the world. And my secret was I just put articles and news stories on PR Web at the time. But here's the deal. I didn't make any sales from PR Web's stories. Like I track it. You know what? I don't know if I didn't make any sales, but I certainly didn't sell most of my tickets because I publicized my event and who was speaking there. Every time I had a celebrity, I always have a rock star. I announced that they were coming. I don't know if anyone really signed up for my seminars because of PR Web, but I know this, when they Googled me and they saw my article everywhere, then they said when my blast came out, my email blast, they're like, where have I seen that name before? I've seen that somewhere. That's the guy, that's that Guns N' Roses guy or something.
Right.
That's why I send it out. So now I don't use PR Web anymore. I use EIN Presswire. I'll put it in the chat. Oh, good, Laura. That's awesome. PR Web is awesome. I use now EIN Presswire. It's the same thing, but it's a little less money. So here's a distribution report. Say, so I sent a PR story out. Rock Your Life Conference for Entrepreneurs is coming to North Dallas, Texas, when I moved from Los Angeles to North Dallas 5 years ago. So I announced this thing and I just spit out a press release. Next one, Larry. So it went everywhere. It went everywhere. And EIN Presswire and PR Web tells you exactly where it went. Hundreds of these pages with all these beautiful logos on it of where your story went. And then I just grabbed the logos of some famous ones, and I said on my website, come to my event, Craig Duswalt, as seen on or in. And I legitimately could say I've been in this because they grabbed my press release. It's a great way, A, to get your name out there, and B, to have people perceive that you're much bigger than maybe you really are. But it's all marketing is all perception. It's all,
Yeah.
well, it's not all perception, but a lot of it is how do you position yourself as an expert in your field? And this is the key. So when Larry and I were putting this together, I'm like, you know what? We have to really drill this home because I've been doing it for years. Larry's been doing it for years, and most people don't. They just go, oh, that's not for me. I'm not big enough. That is such BS. Definite bad mindset because we all have something that we can tell the world about. We all do something really, really good. So start. This is the most important thing, I think, personally.
Yeah, it's one of the most important things for sure. And I'll say it again, wherever these press releases are picked up by, you name these publications, they oftentimes will get posted on one of these websites, these media websites, and your link offers a backlink to your website, which helps your SEO.
Oh,
Okay.
here's one more thing, Larry. Sorry.
No,
You
please.
can, when you're putting out a press release, if you want to focus on a city, you can focus on a city. You can
Yep.
focus on the United States. You can focus on the world. You can focus on a demographic, an age range, a
The
culture,
industry.
anything, an industry, anything. So that's why it's a focused thing about what you're doing to a focused audience that you choose.
Yep. So EIN press wire. Any
That's what I
questions on EIN press wire?
mean.
We're going to take questions here in a second. Okay. Now, the press release is just the first step, getting it out there. Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to all to consider is having an electronic press kit. This is so important. An electronic press kit is a document that you're going to send directly to a specific media outlet. Now, what you can do, what I do when I send out press releases that are about me and not specifically about my company, is that I've got a link in the press release that takes them to my electronic press kit. Okay. An electronic press kit tells your story. It gives sample questions, but we're not going to go into this. We're going to give you these templates at the 6-week program. But I think, we're going to get there. So there's the digital press kit, which is the electronic version, and there's the hard copy press kit. And I would recommend that you consider doing both. Okay. Consider doing both. And here's the pros and cons to these things. So the good news about an electronic press kit is that you can easily distribute it, right? Like through PR Web or EIN Press Wire, one of those things. It's easy to update it. There's multimedia integration, which means you can put links inside it. You can put videos inside of your electronic press kit. It's super cost effective. And you can, when you do it properly, then you can track how many people have clicked on which page, how many people have clicked on which link. The downside is this, that there is the potential for technical issues if you don't really look into it, like how does it show up on a phone versus on a desktop, right? There's less tangible impact. Think about, like, I love holding books when I get books. Now I get a lot on Audible, but there's something about when I have a book in my hand or a magazine in my hand, it seems like there's more value there, okay? But there is the risk of it getting lost in this digital clutter, okay? Now, what I have done over the years is if I'm launching a new book, and I did this with my Victory book, I sent out hard copies. I actually made a nice little box that it went into, and I had my electronic press kit was printed on really nice, or my press kit was really nice paper, and it all went in there, and it was an actual presentation. And I sent those to the top, I think, 200 people that I wanted the TV shows or magazines that I wanted to write up in, right? Now, the pros and cons of a hard copy one is the pros is that it's tangible, it's memorable. Like I just said, when I did it with the book, right? There aren't technological barriers with that. And it is definitely perceived as higher quality. But you better have a budget to do this because it costs money. Just going to a printer, right? Or printing it from your own computer. And you've got limited reach. These don't get passed on. I've seen electronic press kits get passed around an office, right? I send it to an editor, they send it to a journalist, they send it to whomever, right? And it is, once it's out, once it leaves your office, it's hard to update it, right? And if you are concerned about environmental concerns, well, there is that as well. So what goes into
before Larry continues on this, I just want to share this. This is a new magazine I'm doing, RockStar Keynote Speakers Magazine. And yes, one of the hard copy negatives is cost. But I gotta tell you, and it is true because it's way more than a free digital version. But join our 6-week class, and I will show you how much this 16-page magazine costs. You'll be shocked at how little it costs to do a run of a 16-page magazine. How many pages, Larry, is your EPK? 13 something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
13 pages. So I know in my head how much it costs to run a 13-page hard copy of something, and it's way less than $2 each. Way less.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have that
now with the printing, the advancements of printing, where the gang run, it's called a gang run.
Gang runs.
Now, yeah, it's so much more cost effective than it used to be, but it still is a budgetary concern that you need to take into account, right? So if you want to take just a screenshot of this or take a picture of this, here's what needs to go into an EPK, electronic press kit. Got to have the cover page. I would really recommend you do kind of a brief intro on who you are with a great photo. Have some past media testimonials. Do some sample on-air questions. And this is so important. I wish we had time to go into it today. We did go into a pretty good deal of time in our boot camp. But the idea here, the more work you do for a journalist, for a booking producer, for an on-air host, the more likely it is that you're going to get booked. Because all of these media publications, all these stations, networks are working on smaller ad dollars today than they were 10 years ago. And so if you can do the heavy lifting for them, that's awesome. It used to be like, I remember when I first started getting media, I'm going to age myself, 30 some years ago, probably 34 years ago, 35 years ago. If we're going to be in an article, I'm saying me and my former partner in San Francisco, they would send out a photographer. They would send someone, even they'd get somebody on a plane to come out and interview us in person. That just does not happen, or it rarely happens today. If you can provide great photography for them, all the better, right? And so it comes down to just providing the sample introduction and sample Q&A questions for them. They love that kind of stuff. And it tells them that you're media savvy when you do this. And then, of course, on the contact page, you want to have your URL, have your email, have your social, have your media reel. That page will be filled with the interactivity that I was talking about earlier. Your media reel, they should be able to click on it. It should play right there in your electronic press kit. When you've got your social media icons on there, they should be able to click on it, take you right to your social media handle. Okay. And then sprinkle it with media logos or photos of you in the media. Now, fear not. If you have never received 1 ounce of media coverage, you should still do it. Okay. But for folks that go to join us in the 6-week program, I'm going to show you how to get some guaranteed media. Okay. It all starts with 1 article or 1 mention. Okay. And it's like a snowball rolling downhill, right? Once you get media, it's easier to get media. Okay. No one wants to be the first person to ever feature you in the media. 100 years ago, I was selling a restaurant in Santa Barbara, and I did it in a very unique fashion. And I got an in-studio interview in the Santa Barbara station, TV station, and in Santa Maria. Santa Maria is a tiny, tiny TV market. Okay. Now, so I had done those. And about the same time, I was on the cover of a magazine called Vetrepreneur magazine. Okay. So that magazine was in the dentist office. The booking producer from a show on CNBC saw that magazine in the dentist office, doctor's office, whatever it was. She called me and said, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this story." This kind of inspired us to do the story called From the Battlefield to the Boardroom. Would you come on this show called The Big Idea with Donnie Deutsch? And she said, "But have you ever done TV before?" And I said, I was a little embarrassed. Yeah, these little tiny markets. And she goes, "Well, send me those so that I can see, basically they don't want to take a big gamble, put you on a national TV show if you've never done regional stuff before. Thank goodness I'd done those and they were okay. And so I got invited on that national show. And from there, everything kind of blew up from there. So don't be afraid. Just start small. Okay. Now I want to talk to you about relationships with journalists. Anything you want to talk about that, Craig, before we go on?
Nope,
We
I'm
both
good.
agree this is so vital, this
Yeah.
EPK. Craig, anything you want to share
In
on
the
this?
6-week course, you're gonna create an EPK, and Larry and I will critique it, help you punch it up. That's one of the things you're gonna leave with the 6-week course is a professional EPK that you'll be able to. We'll help you with the sample questions, your sample
Yeah.
answers, how long each answer is gonna be, all that
For
stuff.
sure. For sure. Yep. Great. All right. Now, this is a pro tip here. It's vital that you build relationships with these journalists. Don't ever treat them like a one and done thing, okay? And so we're going to talk quite a bit about how do you build these relationships. If you can be a resource for journalists, they're going to come back to you over and over and over again. All right. And so some of the ways that you do this is you research your targeted relevant journalist. I joked around earlier about, if you're into medieval basket weaving, you're probably not going to be talking to journalists that are in the automotive industry. Okay. If you're pitching everything to an automotive industry and you have nothing to do with that, you're wasting your time. And there are ways to find out who are the relevant journalists. Okay. And then personalize your approach. All right. And offer them exclusive insights. Remember, these publications and television stations and podcasts and radio shows, oftentimes they're looking for contradictory or contrarian points of view. And if you have those things, they're looking for those insights. So they're either looking for contrarian or they're looking for supporting points of view. And you can offer both of those. Okay. Be responsive. Oh my gosh. I've heard this from so many people. So many people. One of the things that they loved about working with, I'd say us, particularly Melissa, my assistant, who really controls, she's the puppet master in my life, is that we are super responsive. Super responsive. I try to do it like within an hour or two of getting an inquiry, we're on it. And I don't care what time of the day or night it is. Once a press release goes out, we've got all kinds of alerts letting us know that somebody's reaching out to us. I hear it from booking producers and journalists all the time that they've reached out to somebody and not heard back. It's crazy. And then establish credibility by providing really accurate information. If you provide information to a journalist and then come to find out it's not accurate, it's the journalist who gets hit by the publisher and other people. So be a great wellspring of information for these journalists, right? And we're going to offer a bunch more of these in the 6-week program. And we're also going to be talking about irresistible pitches because these folks get inundated with thousands of press releases. But if you don't have an irresistible pitch with a hook in it, it's kind of like you're wasting time. Okay. So I want to I'm going to slow down for a second here and go into these. So here are the top 5 elements of an irresistible pitch. You must have a compelling hook. Okay. You got to have a compelling hook. So here's one, right? Did you know? So like this would be an example. Did you know in the press release, did you know that 75% of Gen Zs are now choosing careers based on TikTok trends? Our new study reveals the shocking impact of social media on job markets. Doesn't that sound interesting? You have to put it right. So have a compelling hook that way, or have a unique angle, right? You know what? So whether you're talking directly to the journalist or in your opening email or in the press release, it would say, we've discovered how a rare Amazonian fungus could revolutionize plastic recycling, potentially resolving 2 global crises at once. What are these last 2 doing for you? Oh, tell me more. Right? That's the hook. They want to know more. Here's one. Offer a clear value proposition. So right now we've done a compelling hook. We've taken a unique angle. Well, here's a clear value proposition. Our story offers your readers exclusive insights into how AI is reshaping small businesses with real world examples and expert predictions for the next 5 years. That's a pretty clear value proposition for the author or the journalist or the TV host or the booking producer, or it's newsworthy, right? This is happening all around the world. Now, by the way, these are all real pitches, okay? As remote work becomes the new normal, our innovative digital nomad visa program is launching next month, addressing the evolving needs of the global workforce.
Bam.
Boom, right? And you personalize them as well. So let's say that you saw an article. Like this is one of the things I used to do pretty regularly when I was really trying to get press for my hotel company. I followed all the writers, right? And I would send them LinkedIn notices, or I'd send them little note cards, by the way. And each of my note cards had the hotel company logo on it. And it said, hey, I really enjoyed your recent article on sustainable fashion, if you're in the fashion industry. Our upcoming eco-friendly clothing line aligns perfectly with the trends you discussed and offers a new perspective on circular economy in the industry. Right? Journalists love to see, well, gosh, they've been following me, right? They're human. They like to get stroked as well, right?
And
we're
you know
gonna
what? We all want significance. And
Yeah.
if you can make a journalist feel warm and fuzzy, that's the way to do it, you know?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And so we're going to offer you a bunch more templates. I call them 4-in-1 irresistible pitch templates in the 6-week program. All right. How to get Google reviews. Guess what?
This one is so long. It's so long that we just said, yeah, we want to show you what's going to be in the program as well. But this one was so long, we were like, oh, this will take a half hour. But it's so valuable that we just pointed it out because it will be in the 6-week masterclass.
Well, here's what I've learned, right? Is that writers, one of the first places they're going to do once I send them a press release is they're going to Google Larry Broughton, or they're going to Google one of my company names, and you're going to see what is the public saying about them. So I had a hotel in Santa Barbara for a long time. It's called the Spanish Garden Inn, and Foder's guide named it the eighth best, eighth, I think it was the eighth best, seventh or eighth, I think it was the eighth best luxury hotel in the world at one point. And shocking, like it wasn't, but they're the ones who named it. I didn't, right? And so we started getting a lot of media coverage on that. And if we've got time during the 6 week, I'll show you kind of the progression of media that we got there and how creating over the top press releases will get you a lot of attention. But here's what's going to happen. Because they know, just because a journalist knows that their reputation is going to be on the line when they write about, whether they're writing about Randy or Bonnie or Carol, they're going to find out what are people saying about them. If they can't find anything about you online, they're going to scratch their head.
Yeah.
Like, what is up? They don't have a website. There's no reviews on what they do, right? So this is why it's so important to, even if it's not Google reviews, I think that's one of the most important ones. But there are, for most industries, there are review forums. This TripAdvisor is like probably the largest one that's out there, online review or Yelp, right? But we're going to talk to you about getting Google
But
reviews.
again, the whole thing about putting your press release out there, when these people Google you because you put a press release out and it was grabbed by 10,000 websites, you're going to appear on Google on all these places, and all you did was put out a $99 press release.
That's right.
That's the key.
That's right.
That's why it's so important. Anyway.
That's right. Yeah, and we're about to wrap up here, okay? So there's a thing called what we call legit media versus manufactured media. And I would recommend that you do both. Legit is stuff like this, where I didn't pay for this. It either came from a press release or through a reputation boost or from an award. I'm going to share with you the trail in the 6-week program that you should be trying to apply for, get awards. Like I listed a couple of the awards that I've received. Well, the reason I mentioned that is because when I got Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year, guess what? When they came up with the finalists, the top 5 for each category, they sent out a press release to all the markets, right? My name and company was listed in there. And then when I saw that, I sent out a press release about it, right? And then when I was named Entrepreneur of the Year, guess what? They sent out a press release with photography. I did the same thing, right? You should be doing this over and over again. In fact, this Vetrepreneur magazine is the one that is what got me on my first national TV spot.
Are you holding a shoe in that picture?
And that looks like it. Now, when you see the mag, it's a green beret.
I know. Okay.
It does look like a shoe there, though, right? So legit media is that where they actually write about you and you're not paying for it. Okay. And sending out press releases is really important. But if there's a specific magazine or newsletter or newspaper that you want to be in, just go to what's called the masthead. And it actually tells you how to submit press releases and who to send them to, right? So easy to do. Every publication has one. And there's a thing called referral media. So what the heck is referral media, Larry? Well, it's kind of a new thing that most people don't know about yet. Okay. You can send out press releases, and because they run very lean ships, they don't look at press releases. Okay. You're not going to get a hold of them through a press release. They do, they take referrals from people who have already been in their publications because they're trying to build tight communities. Okay. And I'm going to give you a bunch of these, and I will personally refer you if you're in our 6-week program to these. And because at that point, by you go through the 6-week program, I'm going to know a lot about your organization. And so here are a handful of them, and they're really powerful. And then it helps you. Then you can put those logos, those articles on your website in your EPK, and it just starts the snowball effect.
Mhm.
And the other point kind of media that we want to talk about is manufactured media. And this is media where you apply for, there's kind of a small vetting process, but the major vetting process is, are you willing to pay to be in that publication or on that show or on that podcast or speak from that stage? Do you want to touch on this, Craig, or should we just
Yeah.
keep moving
So
quickly?
I will share that and it's taken me 18 years to finally say this, but I'm pretty well known in the speaker industry. Okay, I said it. There I go. I'm pretty well known. So, and
You're kind of a big deal.
I think I'm pretty good at what I do. But I am not even close to above paying to be in a magazine, paying to be on a stage. If I know, A, they have a huge audience and it's my exact audience of what I want to do. So this is one example of manufactured media. John Lee Dumas has Entrepreneurs on Fire. You should all, I'll put the how to spell it right there. I was going to say, I'll show you how to, what it's called and spell it for you in the chat, but it's right there. Entrepreneurs on Fire, it's called, and it's eofire.com. If you're going to do a podcast, whether it's just audio or video and audio, study this man's podcast because he has every month a podcast where he shows you how much he makes doing the podcast, how he makes money, how much a sponsorship is for his show. So his show costs $3,500 to do a 20-minute podcast, audio only with him. That's where, because he's one of the top business on podcasts, one of the top business podcasts in the world. So you look at that and go, okay, that's like the top. But for $100, sometimes $500, maybe even $1,000, if it is your audience, this
Yep.
is manufactured media. Like my magazine, it costs $2,500 to be on the cover, but I'm sending this out to over 100,000 people. Most of them are event planners and people that book speakers and corporations. So in my mind, that's what I would do all day
That's
long.
manufactured media.
Yeah, it's manufactured media, but at the same time,
Yep.
work them both, legit media and manufactured, because you don't want to be only manufactured all the time. And Larry brings up a
Yes.
thing. There's a point where you got to say, I'm done with that and start getting
Yeah.
legit.
Yep. That's great. Now, I want to talk to you about preparing for the camera. Some of you have no interest of ever being on camera, and that's fine. It is fine. I would say you're crazy because I think anyone can do it, but there are some things to be prepared for. Okay. So if you look at Craig's screen right now and my screen right now, if we were to get a call from CNBC and say, hey, could you come on camera 5 minutes from now, we could do it. Right?
Mine's a little
Because
dark. I didn't set it up, but yeah, I
no,
would.
you're good. You're good.
Okay.
What does that mean? Well, it means that the background is clean, right? I don't have dirty laundry back there. The camera is eye level for me. Okay, does that make sense? The lighting is good. I've done TV shows sometimes where the booking producers had to like, dude, you got to close the window behind you so that you don't look like a what do you call it? A silhouette, right? If you're going to do the green screen thing, make sure you got a good enough camera so that when you move, it doesn't ghost. You know what I mean? You've seen that before with people, right? Where it breaks up. Yeah. So you got to make sure that you got a good enough camera and enough memory card or whatever it is, a video card on your computer where that's not a problem. There's a bunch of things about being camera ready. But one of the things I notice all the time, you guys know who James Carville is? The Raging Cajun, right? Exactly. I don't know. He's gone off the rails lately. I've seen him in a bunch of interviews where he's sitting in a lazy boy with a laptop on his lap and the camera's looking up his nose. And it's like, James, he used to be so savvy to like now he doesn't even give a crap, right? Now, one of the things I can tell oftentimes though is that people will have like their laptop or they're either looking up because the camera is on top of their monitor or they're looking down, right? And so here's one of the things that I use, these types of cameras, right? Like what I'm looking at right now with you is this camera right here. Okay.
Left.
This is the one I've got. There's a less expensive version. It's this one right here. Both of them work wonderfully well. Okay. It comes down in the middle of your screen. Okay. Now, the great thing about these, if you do webinars or anything like this, like I'm not doing this now, but you can even do a script. If you're good at reading teleprompters, there are teleprompter software programs you can use, and this is great with that as well. Anything you want to add to that?
No,
Greg?
I don't have that. I have one that is right in my computer, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's great.
definitely investing in this because I always say to myself, because sometimes I need to read the screen, and even though it's only like
Yeah,
3 inches lower, I'd love my focus to be right there instead of right there. It's
that's
three
right. Yeah,
inches, but 3 inches is a lot. My wife
yeah, it
says.
is. Yes, it is.
All right,
I've
couldn't
heard.
help myself.
All right, types of media interviews. Again, we're gonna go deep into these during the 6-week program, but there's print interviews, which is articles, newsletters, those types of things, TV interviews. And I break this down, Susie and those guys will tell you, I broke this down even more about down the line interviews and those types of things in our boot camp. Radio interviews, podcast interviews, StreamYard, multi-guest interviews. Those are very hard to do, particularly if you're not on camera and it's down the line where all you have is, I'm sorry, you got a camera in your face, but there's no monitor and you can't see anyone else. Those are very difficult. Soundbite interviews are really good too, where all they want to do is get a confirmation or contrarian soundbite from somebody that augments, that rounds out their story. And there are websites and services that you can subscribe to be part of that. And then there's email interviews where you never even speak directly to the journalist. They just send you a list of questions and you respond to them.
Mm.
And there's pros and cons to that we go into great detail on. And then, of course, we're going to give you some templates on how to prepare. I call them prep templates for all these different types of interviews because some of it requires some homework, right? We're going to talk about handling difficult questions. This client that I was telling you guys about earlier today, who's like really against didn't want to do media. This was the reason. He felt like he all he watches is these news programs where these journalists ask these gotcha questions or they try to stump you. Most media is not like that. They're trying to sell publications, right? They're trying to actually make you look good. So we need to get over that. But sometimes you do get asked a difficult question. At the boot camp, I shared about how I had a murder in one of my hotels at one point. For some of you folks, I didn't mention this. One of my companies is a hotel company. We had a murder there, and so I had to go out and deal with the press on this with a news helicopter circling above, and all that kind of nonsense. How do you handle difficult questions? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about techniques for impactful sound bites. Right now, we're just going to touch on it very briefly. And so the question is like, what is a sound bite? Well, it's just a short, catchy phrase or sentence that really just captures the essence. The key here about a sound bite is making it memorable. And I think I gave about 10 of these, didn't I, Craig?
Yeah.
I think so. Is the thing. How there's ways to phrase these things so that people remember it. right?
So, Larry, explain what a soundbite is. It's just like one sentence in a story, or explain.
Yeah, it's maybe 10 to 15 sentences. I mean, sentences. That's a homily. Sorry, 10 or 15 words,
Yeah.
right? And oftentimes could be used if you're pithy enough. That could be the pull quote for the entire article. You know, when you read an article, it's got columns, and then there's a highlighted quote.
Yeah.
I used to pride myself when my quote was the pull quote
Yeah.
for an article. So you can practice these things, okay? And we're going to talk about techniques on how to create those. And I do want to give during the 6-week program some examples on creating sound bites. Okay, Craig.
So yeah, so this is the I put it in the chat. If anyone does, we're gonna answer questions in a
Yeah,
minute.
plenty of questions. We've got time for that.
Wants to sign up for it's $497. You could take a picture of the screen right now, and if you don't have a camera or a phone, which I know everyone does, but I will put the link in the chat if you want to sign up. It's $497. This is what we're doing. So we're doing an introductory day on Friday, December 27th.
Yep.
At 12 noon Pacific time. You do not have to come to it. We're just going to say hi to everyone that's in the class. Right now we have about 15 or 16 people. We'll probably have about 30 in the class. And it's so December 27th at 5 o'clock, 12 noon, December 27th, Friday, 12 noon, will just be an introductory class. And we're recording it. So if you miss it, it's not a big deal. You'll get the recording. Then we start January 6th. It's a Monday at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And they just run for 6 weeks every Monday. There might be one Monday that might be an issue, which is Martin Luther King Day, the 20th. Larry and I will talk about that. But
We'll take your temperature.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Exactly. So it's 6 weeks of 6, 1 to 1, and it's probably going to be at least an hour and a half because we're going to take questions. It's an open forum. So if you say, hey, this is what I do. Do you think this is a good headline for my press release going out next week? We'll stop the class. We'll answer that. It's very interactive, and that's the key. And so you get a bunch of things. We're doing a Facebook group where we're all going to share our ideas on the Facebook group. You get the introductory called the 6-week class. And then all the templates that Larry has. And there's going to be a lot of templates. But instead of figuring out what to do, it's going to be a template of this goes here, this goes here, the EPK template, this goes here, this goes here. And then the big thing is at the end of the 6-week course, you will have an EPK, an electronic hard kit, press kit that is electronic. And you could also print, and I will give you the printer that I use and the unbelievably great price that I have set up for this class and my magazine to get these printed. So you could print like, I don't know, 50 of them, 100 of them, and just hand them out. That's how you get speaking gigs. That's how you get interviews, more interviews, having an EPK in your hand.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's $497. It is, I think it's ridiculous price, but we want like 30 to 40 people. And then here's some, you want to go over these, Larry?
No, go for it.
All right. So Brian Maddox, these are people that took the boot camp, which was like 2 weeks ago, and they sent us testimonials already because we teach. Get a testimonial right away. So Brian was he's a leadership guy, military guy. He has something called Total Engagement Leadership. Adina Payton on the next page. She runs a nonprofit. She has an amazing story, but she runs a nonprofit and she's writing a book. Next one is Bonnie Kitahatas. She's a nurse, also wrote a book on nurse burnout. Then we have Jimmy Owens, who's on this.
Yay, Jimmy! Thank you for the testimonial.
Heart transplant survivor, and now he's speaking and writing a book on how do you stay motivated when you go through something like that, and motivating people, saying, "You think you have it hard? I have a new heart, damn it!" And just motivational. Phoebe just took our class. She's a writer, a cosmetologist. She's writing a new book because of the PR class we just talked about. And Shanta is a travel agent. She's writing a book as well.
All these different industries. It's crazy.
That's the thing. These were just seven. And then Diane Kephart, she works for Southwest Airline, ex-military. She has a podcast called Winning Resilience. It does not matter what business you're in, what you do. Everyone needs PR. There is a market for everybody in PR. And the beauty of EIN Presswire and PR Web is you get to tell it where it go, where you want it to go. And I'm just sharing, Larry, Larry and I know a lot of people. And because of my new business, Damn, if any of you want to target the music industry for whatever you do, if you're a hairstylist, a caterer, a psychologist, give me some more things, whatever you are, an author, if you want music clients,
astrologer,
come into our world, because I am as high as you can be in the music industry without being well known in the music industry because of my partner, John Reese. Yeah. It's just what we're offering is just get into the group and just be a part of this. And it's going to be exciting 6 weeks.
I will tell you this, it's fine. It's $497. This will be the best investment you will make in marketing your business and increasing your profile, increasing your credibility, attracting clients. I'm just telling you. I mean, I can't guarantee it. Here's why I can't guarantee it. It's up to you
to do the work.
I can give you the information, but this is why I'm offering it in template form, right? And so you just fill in the blanks, right? Just do the checklist, right? I'm just trying to make it super, super easy for you. I made a commitment that I was going to make a global impact through entrepreneurship and leadership. And this is why I coach and mentor. And I don't care how good your product is. I don't care how good your service is. I don't care what kind of a wonderful person you are. If no one knows you, you're just spinning your wheels. Mm-hmm. You're spinning your wheels. And this is the most cost-effective way to increase your profile.
Most of it is free. Most of
it's free.
Press release, EIN press release. If you buy, I think it's like, Susie, you just did this. How many did you have to buy for that price? Do you remember?
There's all kinds of packages. $497 for 5 press releases. They offer specials. They're all over.
No, it's $399 for like 8 press releases.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what they.
I buy the year package. I buy it a couple of times a year, but it's $999, and I think I get 35 press releases, so it comes out to like $30 a press release. So I send. It's actually fun because you know, when people search my name, like Google my name tonight and just see how many pages I'm on. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, likewise.
To watch how much you're out.
Yeah,
there.
likewise. I would encourage you.
Thomas Watson just signed up. You go, Thomas.
It's the most important thing you can do for your business.
Tommy Watson, holy macaroni. Good to see you, brother. It's been a long time. Wow. Hey, and Tommy's seen a bunch of the press I've been in, crying out loud. He was in a group with me for a while. Here's the thing. One of the things we need to talk about in this 6-week program, Craig, is, all right, so you send out the press release. Now what?
Yeah.
What do I do when they start calling me? How do I turn that into gold?
Yeah.
Right. That's going to be the key.
It is. It's like, capturing the lead.
Yeah.
There's so many things we're talking about. All right, let's open it up. We got a few more minutes. All right, Gail Stevens is going to do it. You go, girl. You go, girl.
Good, Gail.
Does anyone have any questions about anything? We'll just open it up. Raise your little hands if you have the hand thing, if you have a question. And if you don't have a question, then we're good there too. All right, no questions.
Really? Nothing?
No, it usually takes one person to ask a question. There's Gail. Gail, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
So if we are going to be doing your class and we are thinking about, I just was awarded 2024 Collin County 40 over 40.
Good. Wow.
That is 40 women over 40. I always say Just
That's
so you
cute.
know, Fit Fabulous and Forever 40. We know I'm stretching it, but anyway, and so I was thinking as I read your email about this class tonight, there's like, you know what? I need to now capitalize on it because
Yeah.
it just came out. It's a full page on me, etc. Now I do want to take your class, and thank you, Susie, and thank you, Larry and Craig and everyone. Um, but I think it makes sense for me to know more about what I'm going to be doing
Yep.
rather than just do it at this point.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Agreed. Announce everything.
But
Yeah.
much more strategic by working with you
Absolutely.
guys. Okay,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
perfect.
Yeah,
We'll
Thank
have
you.
a step-by-step program for you. Yeah.
absolutely. There is a strategy to this as well.
Right,
Yes,
right,
you don't just like throw things out there. I mean,
right. No, right.
okay, if we had the best, the worst of two, don't do anything or throw things out there randomly, I would still throw things out there randomly. But
Yeah,
a strategic plan is
right,
so much more bang for your buck.
And by the
right.
way, now that you've received this award, you are now the award-winning
That's right.
blankety blank in
Hmm,
your bio.
cool. Okay. And then
And if-
what if you have some important awards that came from X number of years ago, but it
yes,
still pertains?
yes, you're an award-winning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You
Once
can
you,
even say former Gail Stevens, winner of the 2020 da 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 da, now recognized as this award. So you killed two birds with one stone. You won that award, and now you're doing this. Winner of the 2020 the 40 over 40 award. Gail Stevens is now is now writing a new book. You could
yep.
always position old stuff in it's marketing.
Oh, okay. Got
You know
it.
what I mean? You
Got
can
it.
bring it up,
Yeah.
and even though that's not the focus of it.
Right. Sort of that's your
Yeah,
bridge
just
into the
exactly,
conversation.
exactly.
Perfect.
So
Connie,
another
Perfect.
way,
Thank you.
oh,
hold on a
sorry.
second. Another way to do that, Gail, is that in the press release, I'm going to share my screen again here, just very quickly, and I'll show you another way that you can include it. Okay, so it doesn't look like, well, whatever. So you talk about your content here, but down at the bottom, about Broughton Hotels. So you can say about Gail, and in here you can say something about it, about your awards.
Oh, okay.
There's a way to do it.
Hey, we're doing that for Threads, for DAM, my new business DAM. We're announcing launching January 14th and everything. And then where Larry just showed you, after the press release is a line, and then we write about Threads, one of our bands, about Chain
Yeah.
the other band, about Of That Nature, the other band. Under the press release, it just gives you more information about what you touched on in the press release. It's
Right.
like
Got
added
it.
bonus, you know.
Yeah. Got it.
Connie was at the boot camp.
Yep.
I was at the boot camp. I flew in for it.
You did.
It was the
Salt Lake
most
City.
awesome weekend ever.
Wow.
I was showing a friend of mine that I'm surprised they didn't show up, but I only gave them an hour notice when I saw the email tonight. But I was showing them everything that I learned. Like I had the link tree set up and all that. It was outdated for 3
Great.
years. So I've been trying to find all the logins, of all
Yeah.
these different accounts, the press release and everything. But I also the whole John's whole site is
John
amazing.
Walker, yeah.
And so I'm always curious because we use AI for so many things.
Yes.
And so I joined, I logged in, and then I said to one of my colleague that works with me, Vasu, I said, check this out. I went to this awesome event. I'll tell you all about it, on Monday, but see what this is, because I didn't have time to go through it. And he said, oh my gosh, I know all the AI stuff. And then I showed him all the marketing stuff that we learned in that boot camp. And I don't always blow him away, but I blew him away. That yeah, he's 30 years old. He's highly successful. he happens to be in India, and really connected, and he's really into what we're doing. And
That's awesome.
Well, the good
But
thing
it-
about this masterclass, Connie, is that we're going to be recording these.
yeah,
Oh,
Okay.
good.
And so if let's say that you can only make it to 3 of them,
Mhm.
make it to 3 of them, but watch the recording. But the other element that's even probably as important is that we're going to have a closed Facebook or private Facebook group for everyone that's in this. And in there, you can go in and say, hey, I know we spoke about this last night. I've tried this. What do people think about this pitch? What do you think about this hook? Any feedback on that? We can bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing
I
is,
think that'll be really good for you as well.
and the recording is just going to be yours for eternity, and
That's right. And you can share that with your
so you
team.
can refer.
Please don't be sharing it with people that didn't go to the event, but if they're on your team,
Yeah.
right,
use it, right?
right.
Yes, Allie, great question. She said, can we send in questions via email because she's not available on Monday nights? 100%. Send me an email. She's in my mastermind. Send me an email, send Larry an email, send us an email, and we will address it on that Monday night. So then you'll hear your answer in the recording. Plus, you're in our mastermind. So
Yeah, because we'll be doing a Q&A each Monday.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm in Allie's position. Like I have a previous, Monday night commitment, so I won't be able to be on any of them. But also with everything I'm going through right now, I don't know if I'm going to have the bandwidth to implement it.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Bonnie, you're going through a thing right now.
Yeah.
And I get that. So, maybe not, the timing isn't right for that right now.
Bonnie, it's a season, and this won't be, given the feedback that we're getting, I promise you this will not be the last time we do it. I don't know when it's going to be,
Right.
but just, we got to trust that, it's in God's timing for you, and I'm praying for you. And, you've got a couple of techniques from this so far, ideas you can launch for sure.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
I love your authenticity and your vulnerability, Bonnie. I mean, you're a gem for sure.
I mean, personally, I would cancel my other Monday night thing. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I don't have the bandwidth right now.
I get it.
No, I'm joking.
I get it. I get it.
No, I always tell people this, like when I do a seminar. I don't care if you're getting married that weekend. Cancel the wedding. Just come. It's going to be that good. It looks like Carol Pilkington is, I think, trying to sign up. And,
well, I know. Can we go to Susie? She's been patient with her hand up here for the last 10 minutes. Susie Pruden.
Wait, and Barbara Cunningham just signed up. I want to announce the people that signed up too.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Susie.
I've gotten a lot of media over the years. I mean, hello, Oprah Winfrey. This workshop, though, two weeks ago, blew me out of the water because it was like, oh yes, I remember that. Oh yes, I do this. Oh yes, do this. If you did something every week for the next year,
yes,
would show up, because
transformational.
This is going to change not only my business but my life.
Yeah.
And I remember what it did for me in New York. I mean, people used to. I walked down 6th Avenue and people say, "Hey, Susie Pruden." I walked into my manicurist last Friday night. There was a lovely woman there who said, I just come from a party. And she said, "Oh, you look beautiful. I love your glasses. I love your coat, etc." We started talking and I said, "What's your name? Who are you?" And she said, "My name is Wendy. Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Susie Pruden." And she looks at me and goes, "You're famous. I have your book. I haven't written a new fitness book since 1992.
This is Susie. Susie's kind of a big deal.
You gotta do this seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind that it's a little heady when you start being recognized everywhere, but your business will change.
It does.
Yeah.
When I had the article in the New York Times in New York, I went from 10 on Thursday to 75 new ones the following Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later, 75 new ones.
Wow.
You know, I think Larry brought up a really good point that he mentioned this time, but not the other times, is some people, the reason why some people don't do this is because they feel they're not ready and or not worthy. And that is a thing that like we have to fix.
Yes.
Because if you're not going to talk about yourself, no one else is going to do it.
Right.
You got to get to the point where you start promoting yourself, and then they'll start promoting you. But if you're not putting yourself out there first, no one will ever promote you because they just don't know what you do. So,
Hey,
yes,
Jimmy, you got a
Allie,
question.
so
Oh,
what?
sorry.
Allie, yes, your business partner can attend if you can't. And to tell you the truth, if they're your business, like Susie Pruden, she could have her business partner or her assistant come on at the same time. So you both hear it. As long as they work for you or with you. Don't be like making friends online now and say, will you be my friend? And we could do this
We'll split
together.
the cost. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All
Jimmy,
right, now who was up, you said?
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Thank you, guys. First off, before I ask any questions, just thank you again for doing your webinar. Thank you for the event you did, the boot camp, because I'm new to this business. I just want to say to Bonnie real fast before I ask the question. When I was in that hospital getting a heart replacement, I had no bandwidth for anything else other than to get better.
Sure.
You know, I had to say no to everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so Bonnie, trust me, do never quit. That's what I said to
There
myself
you go.
every day.
Look
You
at
know.
look at Jimmy's becoming a motivational speaker and a coach right in front of our eyes. There you go.
So the question is, Larry, when you're doing this thing that I'm signed up for, and you said you were going to have templates. Are these downloadable things that I can download and print and work on?
There'll be electronic templates. Yes, through
Okay.
Google Drive.
Because I'm really not that good on the computer doing everything yet. Yeah, I'm working on.
There'll be like
playing the piano than the computer.
There'll be checklists. They'll be you'll be able to use them for sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
You know, his templates are so good that when you're finished with the course, you'll probably be able to win on the game show Jeopardy, right, Randy Gold?
Thank you.
Thumbs up. Yes.
Randy is Jeopardy. He's the smartest guy I know.
Other questions or comments, concerns?
Carol, email, text me. Do you still have my text? Carol, I'm going to text you. I'm going to put in the chat to you my text, and we'll work through this. Boom.
And the time frame of this again?
So it starts December 27th, next Friday. And that's
optional.
That's an optional thing. It's just
And that's noon Pacific Standard Time?
Yes, noon Pacific. Yep.
Okay. And then
it's Monday nights at 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock your time.
5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
And I forgot what I was just gonna say. Oh, forget it. It's gone. Gone.
Great.
Do you guys get this? Like you go into the kitchen and you get there and you have no idea why you're in the kitchen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Happening more and more lately.
It's called wisdom.
There you go. There you go.
Well, I don't know that we got anything else. I'm willing to hang out here if people have questions.
That's great.
But clearly, like again, the next week is optional, but we're going to start June 6th.
No,
we'll figure out. I'm sorry. Thank you. January 6th. We'll figure out the Martin Luther King MLK Day.
Yeah. I'm going to be in the studio.
Allie's got a question.
Allie, yes.
Hi, thank you both. This is wonderful. And I understand that when we invest in the class that you'll give templates. Like for me, I'm an artist. I know you just said we could share the information. Like the person I'm working with right now, She coaches NBA players, pro ball players, and that's who I would work with. But then, I have Rich, who's, wants to launch a spiritual center and also do music. And so I don't know, I don't want to cross a line, but those are the three people, me and those other two people are.
That is totally fine. Look, here's the deal. It's an honor system thing. If they're on your team, right, Larry, I don't care if you bring 5 people.
No, if they're on your team, listen, it's about integrity, right? If it doesn't feel right, if it feels icky, you know the answer.
Right. Well, that's why I'm asking, because Rich is on my team. I'm on his team, and I'm on her team. I'm the hub. So,
well, I would say,
it's two
listen,
different businesses.
You've been in the community for a long time, Allie. I trust you. Okay.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, what I just feel, I've seen this happen. Craig has seen this, where people don't even know each other, and then they say, "Hey, this program's going to cost $700. How about if we split this?"
Right.
We'll say that we work around the same people.
No, that's
creepy. I believe in karma. So
yeah.
That's the universe.
Hey, that's why I've been here so long. You guys are like my brothers. I would never take advantage. That's why I'm asking totally up front, because I'd have to pick between them or one person. We have
bring them both.
Anyway, I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes.
We're easy.
It shows your integrity that you're even asking. By the way,
she's legit. Too legit. Yeah. Quit.
Allie, do you remember? Craig had me at one of his masterminds, and you came up to me and you were about to bite my head off, and you said, "You're not going to make me cry." Remember that?
I love it.
Oh my God.
I used to have a reputation of, when I would do hot seat sessions or jam sessions with people, a lot of people would cry, and then not because I was a meanie, but that was the reputation. It was because oftentimes they had a breakthrough. Or and I know that, like, sometimes we've all got gifts. I think they're divinely appointed, where I oftentimes see potential in people that they don't see in themselves. And when you hit that button, it's like, boom, just waterworks happen.
Yeah. 2 things, Larry. I was at your round table, and this is, Craig, 15 years ago. Holy cow.
Yeah.
One of the first things. And it was so, because Craig was like, now he prepared us, and I was like, oh my God, I got into your room, and I was like kind of scared to death.
Oh, that's right. It was a breakout, and I said, now, if you go into Larry's room, get prepared to cry. I remember that.
Oh God. Yeah. Anyway, that's funny. You have such a good memory. God bless you.
Oh yeah, it was profound. I tell that story.
Mary Lou, I love your Santa outfit. Good for you. Getting ready for the holidays. I've got my Santa hat on, my red Santa hat.
Yeah, you're KC.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ohio State.
That stands for Kris Kringle, right?
Yes, Kris Kringle.
Oh, there we go. Yes. And of course, we're meeting Tennessee at 8 p.m. And it's going to be probably 20 degrees outside. But hey, wear your Arctic undies or something. Anyway. Yeah, nice to see you all.
It's great seeing you too.
I have one more question on the class.
Yeah.
In terms of practical application, like doing the work, and are we meeting every week? And how much work does it take to get to if I'm going to do this, I want to do it, and so I want to know about a time frame, because I'm juggling a lot right now. I have a lot of responsibilities that are outside of business altogether. So I just wanted to ask about that, Larry and Craig, because
here's the deal. It's a week in between. And I think Larry and I haven't discussed this. On January 20th, we're in the studio with Thredge. So I really don't want to, I'm paying a lot of money for the studio. So I think I might have to have 1 week off. So we'll do the 6th, the 13th, the 27th, and then the 3rd, 10th, and 17th, I think.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Say those again.
No, I'm not even sure of that, Gail. Just, I know we're starting the 6th, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to do the 20th, which is Martin Luther King Day anyway. So, but it'll be like 6 weeks, but plenty of time in between. But the good thing is, if we do not do it on the 20th, now you have 2 weeks to do the stuff in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, apply it.
Apply it.
Yeah.
And implement. And we're going to be talking a lot about implementation.
Yeah.
Because I am sick and tired of talking about this and no one doing it. So it's going to be a lot of guys. Last week, let's see the press release. Let's see the thing. Let's see what you did. Share your screen. I want to see it.
That's why I'm asking how much time. And in terms of, you guys have so much experience, what's the gulp factor? Like getting camera ready? Do I have to pay somebody to get a headshot? Like,
no.
Do you know what I mean?
Wait. Yes, you need a headshot.
By the gulp factor, like, oh shit, how am I gonna, overcoming all the fear.
The better photography you have, the better for you, for sure. But I've seen people, I've got clients who've used it. If you know how to use a good iPhone, you can get good enough photography from that. You don't need to be paying. The problem is people stand up against a wall and it's a white background and they look scared, right? Do some lifestyle shots, right? And you're gonna be fine. You'll be fine. Now, as you make more money and you can spend more money towards it, yes, of course. But anything you can do, the biggest expense in this whole thing, financial expense, is going to be the newswire service that you use to send out your press release. Craig and I will help you craft press releases during those 6 weeks. My hope is that by the end of the 6 weeks, you've all sent out at least one press release, right? And we're going to help you with that press release. Now, you used a word in there that kind of scares some people. You said, how much work, right? Well, the key, I want you to think about this, where some people see work, high achievers and successful people see opportunity. It's work that scares people why they don't get stuff done, right? This is an opportunity. And I admit, I'm a little bit ashamed of this. I should have been talking about this years ago. I really should have been pushing this PR stuff years ago.
I had been. No one listened to me.
I know, but I take a little bit of a different approach than you do.
Yeah.
And
no,
what you
I'm
have
done
done,
being
though,
nice.
I think the difference, though, Craig, is that you've bundled up PR in with all this other fire hose stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We've niched it down to this is the important element.
It's so important.
It's so important.
That's why Larry and I started talking about this, because we were saying, like, why aren't people doing this when this is the thing that you and I do to get us the things that
it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And what you guys now is breaking it down so that we can go, oh, I can do that. Yep. Oh, I can do that. Before it's huge. We don't know how to do it. And I'm so grateful, Larry, whether you started then, but you're here now.
That's right.
And I get to experience it, and we all get to experience it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Susie.
Thank you.
Hey, real quick before you guys hang up, I just want to, is that Allie or Alice?
Allie. Well, her name is Alice, but she goes by Allie.
Talking about a headshot, even though I did get a headshot, it was kind of funny. I saw the testimonial and Craig used, look, I wear sweatshirts every single day at the pool because I'm a swim coach. And he put a picture of me with a sweatshirt on, not one of my headshots that I had given before. So I thought, oh, okay, that's great. That's nice. That's what I really look like every day. So not the guy with the suit and tie. So I wouldn't even worry about that. All right, thank you guys. I gotta go.
All right, Jimmy. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Could you just repeat? Is there a tuition? I apologize for coming in, but at least I'm here. Can you just give me the
I'm going to give you the link, and it's $20,000 for a 6-week course. I'm joking.
We have 500 people signed up already, so it's going to be awesome for us.
It's $497 for a 6-week course. And do you see the chat? Can you see the chat?
I can get in because I looked there just kind of looking for some stuff here.
Yeah, I'm going to put.
I have 17 remarks in here, but yes, I'll look in here now.
I just put it in the chat just now. So go to the chat, click on that link, and that's where you sign up for $497.
Rockyourlife.cart. Is that Kartra?
Yeah, Kartra, yeah. But just click on it and it'll pop
there.
in.
It is. I see it now.
And then scroll down and then just fill out the info and you're done.
And there's Larry. There's you. Okay. Very good.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Tommy Watson. Where's Tommy? Is he still here?
Yes.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. Well, he's hiding. Tommy, I was in Craig's RockStar training with Larry in 2013.
Yeah, I forget off the top of my head, but it was like a 3-day training. Me and my wife flew out to LA
And Larry was there talking. Was he one of the speakers?
oh, it was his gig, and I think
Oh, it
you
was
were
his gig,
You
and
came
I
in.
spoke there.
Yes.
It was Larry's gig, and I spoke
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's a mastermind that I did.
And that's when I met Spangler too, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
Oh, that's
Good
awesome.
stuff.
Well, great to see you again, Tommy. And looks like I'll be seeing a lot of you in the next few months.
Sounds good.
Love it.
Thank you. This was great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays to everybody.
you.
Susie, great to see you. Bonnie,
Yeah.
take
Happy
good
Everybody.
holidays.
Hey, Ron. See you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Larry. Thank you,
everyone.
Greg.
Craig, can you
Thank-
stay on for a minute?
Yeah, I'll stay on.
I'll
right.
stay on too. No.
No, it's just don't make me kick you out, Allie.
Okay,
Merry
thank
Christmas.
you.
Bye.
Bye for now,
Hey, guys.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
everyone.
Hugs.
Bye.
Bye, I
Joanne.
love you.
See you. Bye.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
I think he might. You have control.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm doing it right now.
You did it.
Okay.
All right.
How many do we get signed up?
So Carol Pilkington is trying. It's not working out. So we had, all right. So we got one. Wait, where did I put this? All right.
Oh,
So
wait. Are we still recording?
you have to. Oh, I'll stop the recording.